can't hear me, just say so in the chat. How y'all doing, motherfuckers? Was gonna be like a 2 hour long stream, but it took me an hour to get all this set up because you really can't tell. I'm basically like using two computers to do my VR dev. So like the computer you see on the screen is my main development computer, and then that is not my VR ready computer. That is connected via a giant HDMI cable to a tower sitting on my desk, which runs a giant cable into my room. So every single damn time that I frickin' run this thing, I have to walk into my room. But I have Visual Studio connected to my development machine via a remote debugger, so if anything goes wrong, which it inevitably will, I can catch those crashes, debug, step through code with breakpoints and everything. The Visual Studio remote debugger is absolutely, in my opinion, like the most amazing thing ever. This allows me, this has allowed me to do like remote debugging on a Windows 7 machine running in like a virtual machine on my Mac. Like it's incredible. So what I'm doing today is I was going to talk about some things, but I'm kind of feeling like under the pressure of getting this damn thing done. Unlike my HoloLens app, I have not done like a regular video series documenting my development of porting it to Vive for VR. It's a way more advanced, way nicer version than the HoloLens version is currently, and I am just about finished the whole thing. Today I'm basically doing the tutorial for it, or probably like whatever an hour's worth of work towards that's going to be. And then after that, after I finish the tutorial, I'm going to do a limited beta testing thing, and then that's basically going to be it. I'll ship it to the frickin' Steam store, pray that people buy it, because, I'm basically kept afloat by my app sales, and I've been working really hard on these versions of this app, and let's just say I really hope like there's a market for this kind of stuff. So you'll get to see the app a little bit while I'm debugging through it. This is not necessarily a tour of Verto Studio and what it can do. I might do that later when I'm done. But again, today I'm just going to be coding the tutorial, which I actually don't even know how the hell it's going to work. So you might just see me thinking for a while. I know first things first, I need to add a button for the tutorial. So that's what I'm probably going to do to my main menu here. And I think I'm going to add that right underneath download samples. So I never know if I'm in VGL namespace used or not. I'm not. So I have this way of telling whether or not I'm on VR. Let's see. I don't want to do this for the HoloLens, so this is only for VR. And then I'm going to add the tutorial button. I don't know how I'm going to avoid like not cussing my face off during all this, because usually I get really mad when I'm working on VR, and now that I got like a microphone on me, it's going to be different. Usually I'm like always checking if whether or not I'm streaming. Like I don't fucking care if I'm not streaming. Like if no one's there, then whatever. I'll just be talking to myself. Tutorial. Yeah. Let's stay consistent here. I'm also coding from my couch, which is really bad for my fucking posture. I usually sit at my desk, but I couldn't get all my cables to stretch to my damn desk, so whatever. I also hate this keyboard, but like that's another topic. You guys will probably often notice that I copy paste things that like most people would type out. I do that because years ago I screwed my fingers up by typing too fast, so I have what they call RSI, repetitive strain injury. So if there's something that I can copy paste, I will, to avoid typing unnecessarily. It helps me get more bandwidth or throughput from my fingers for any given day. Where's the Y? How the hell do I move the button Y? Oh, jeez, I manually was doing this? You kidding me? Okay, well, that's pretty bad. That's really bad. Hold on. That needs to be fixed, like, right now. Holy shit. Button Y minus button spacing. Button Y. Button Y, button Y, button Y. Okay. This should be pretty easy. Y minus equals space after every single button, like so. So I'll just do this. Here, here. God, man, this was like way when I was first learning how to use my own framework for sure, because I wouldn't have done this shit today. I'm modifying some older code here. Really, Windows 10, you could suck my ass, dude. Okay. This is very enterprising. Enterprise. Oh, shit. I can't be talking under my breath. You guys won't hear what I'm saying, like, because this mic fucking sucks. And I bought a guitar recording mic for my YouTube channels, which is designed to be held up against, like, freaking, like, guitar amps. It's high impedance, and I didn't know what that meant, but whatever. Okay, let me run this just to make sure that the button is there. So you guys aren't going to be able to hear me when I go over to my room in VR. I couldn't get that microphone working, and honestly, like, I just can't fucking be bothered with it right now. So I'm just making sure this is all okay before I walk all the way into my room for no fucking reason, just to see my new button. Well, that didn't fucking work, now did it? I could just tell I'm gonna get really pissed off today, and I don't want to. What can you do? Like, you know, what can you fucking do? People are watching. Well, that's good. Okay. So that's a fucking problem. Let me fix that problem. I know this thing likes to have a damn problem. So what the hell did I do? I don't, like, did I fuck the size up? Height is 280. So maybe I need to add more to the height? Because everything else looks fine. It's just the top bar is completely spazzed out just because I added one fucking button, which makes no sense. Nice button Y, button spacing every single time, button spacing every single time. Oh, dude, it flipped on me. About is in the top and create new scene is in the bottom. I don't think I... Let me see what the fuck this was before. I love how the very first thing, like, I set out to do, like, has a damn problem. Like, that's the name of this game with this app. Like, this thing has been, like, pulling teeth the whole damn way through. Of course, like, this won't scroll for no reason, because the people who made this suck at programming. Height minus button Y. Again, another subtraction. Button spacing. Oh, no, I'm freaking stupid. This is my fault. That should be plus, because I'm subtracting it. You'd think for all the damn 3D math and everything that I've been good at in all these years, I would, like, never make mistakes with something this simple, but, like, you know, like, I just... Sometimes I wonder how I ever, like, was able to figure out how to do any of this stuff. So I still think that blue toolbar is going to be, like, in the wrong place. I'm hoping those Vive controllers stay on long enough for me to see that they're, that the menu comes up. Because the menu doesn't come up if the Vive controllers don't. That's right. That looks right. I don't even have to walk into my room to know that that's good. Okay, well that's good. Okay. That started out annoying, but I'm, like, less bad now. Okay. Tutorial. So what I'm going to do when I go into the tutorial is I'm going to create a new scene, just like I did if I pressed on new file. This is a lot of code to copy paste, but, you know, I'm almost done, and I just want to be done. On tutorial. I'm going to create a new scene. Push into the scene, god damn it, push into the scene space controller. This does not need to indent for no reason. But I need to make it very clear to the scene space controller that oh. This is going to be weird. Well, I guess... Okay. That's something to think about. Scene space controller. This is the thing that dictates the scene. I don't know how I'm passing... Oh, dock to load equals nothing. God, I hate it when this fucking thing... Okay. Yeah, like the trackpad on the Surface Book loves to just think you did a two-finger pinch and make your text too big, which is really annoying. I probably should make it a little bigger for the sake of streaming. Let me see if it stays that way for every open dock. Yeah, it does. So if you guys want to read it better, I guess that'll be fine. Okay, so scene space controller. I need to immediately tell it that we are in tutorial mode, which will set some flags, namely that you can't save the scene and that you can't yeah, that you're in a tutorial. So let me set a boolean for that. I feel like that should probably be in two places, but I feel like the best place to set it would be the scene space itself. So I never know where to put anything with this stuff because I like to group things together, and there really is no place for this. I guess this is fine. Bool VR or tutorial mode. I'll sometimes use inline bool getters for things that are so simple that I just don't feel like making a separate method for. In this case, because this might do stuff under the scenes, I'll put it in there like that. So now I should have a setter for the scene space controller to do the same thing. If you guys are familiar with the design pattern for model view controller, that's kind of like the pattern I follow for my framework for holographic or 3D or VR UI. Read up on that, and it'll basically kind of explain like the idea between having like UI controllers, which handle all the logic, versus the views, which are like the visual components, which are just like dumb logicless buttons and stuff like that, and then the model, which is kind of like the data, which I don't really read into as much. But I follow that same concept with space controllers, which are like VR or holographic UI controllers, and then the spaces, which are like the lower level visual components of what you're doing. And it's all abstracted out because it needs to be with this kind of stuff. Okay. Scene space. I pray to God this is already loaded. Well, I'll make sure it is. Set tutorial mode. Pass this along. So now, it wouldn't hurt to have a getter for this that reads it as well. Bool get tutorial. And this one is not inline because it does something a little bit more advanced. Get tutorial mode. Come on, come on. Where's my library at? Okay, so as soon as I know that this thing exists... Shit. I hate to make another argument to this constructor, but... Oh god, I love it when I hit the eject button. I almost just ejected my damn, like, Surface tablet off the fucking keyboard. That would have been great. Alright, fuck it. I need to... God damn it. Alright, I need a fucking bool for it here, because if the space isn't loaded yet, then I have to, like... God, that really pisses me off. I really don't want to do it like that. I guess there's no way for me not to. Because I don't want to force load the damn space before it's ready. It probably happens like right here. Well, actually, in this case, it's synchronous, I think. Let me just fucking see what happens if I do it right here. Set tutorial mode. True. This will probably crash, but whatever. I love how I'm already a half hour in and I've programmed pretty much like a half of one button. Like, this is why, like, this is taking me like years to do, or like over a year. Also, like, one of the things I never talk about with C++ is if you have a giant project like this and you change an important header file like I just did, you get to wait for the whole damn thing, well, like a good portion of it, to rebuild every time you want to run, which is why I hate changing like header files that are used by like a lot of other files. And I'm using precompiled headers, so this would be like infinitely slower if I wasn't using those. I think it's about ready. Usually it's not so bad, but I feel like I'm always ending up having to change those stupid header files. Welcome to the glamour of VR development, guys. Yeah, come the fuck on. All right. It crashed. It crashed. I was right. So I can't fucking do it this way. It's fantastic. Like, I know it seems like I'm harping on something really small, but like, this is how you prevent your code base from having like 10 duplicated variables everywhere and being really shitty and poorly designed and just a not fun place to work. And, you know, I don't want to do that. So, or at least I don't want to do it unless I'm forced to. And in this case, I'm fucking forced to. Let me see. If you guys can't hear me and you want me to turn up the mic, just tell me. I'm assuming it's fine. God damn it. Okay. Where the fuck is the scene space? Fine. You get a fucking duplicated variable. Whatever. At least gonna call it pending so I know like it's not a thing. Really? Fucking one chance? Okay. So if it's there, set it. If it's not, set it pending, and then load space. I'm gonna create the fucking scene space. Immediately, I need to yeah, I need to define this thing. So there it is. Scene space set tutorial pending tutorial. So at this point, that was weird what I just did. I hope I didn't just fuck something up. I usually don't do that. It's probably fine. If it's been loaded, because I load these in the background, so I can't just assume everything's fine. There might be a background scene load in process or in progress, which is bad. So if scene, and there is not, which I think is impossible for the tutorial, but I'm just being safe. Hey Gabrielle, how you doing? Yeah, I'll raise it. I'll raise it. Hold up. I'm using, again, like a guitar recording mic, which is why it's so low all the time. I think I go into the mixer. I am not like an OBS expert. So let me know if it's too loud, because I'm going to double it again, and it's probably going to get crazy. Oh god, okay. It should be a lot louder now, because I just doubled the volume twice. Okay. Where was I? Oh, tutorial mode. Yeah, I'm just being careful here so that the scene is not in background loading progress. Then I apply the tutorial mode settings because I just set like I literally was just there in the code, was I not? One trick I use to always find where the fuck I was in Visual Studio, and I've seen other coders do this, is like if I'm off here somewhere, I'll hit Command Z to undo and then Command Shift Z to redo, and it'll jump me back to the last edit I made in the code, which is always like really convenient because I always am getting lost in this sea of fucking shit that I made. It's like rolling a snowball and then it rolls on you and kills you. Like, that's how I feel when I'm working on this. Okay, set tutorial mode. So there's some things I'd like to do here to remind myself that we're in a tutorial. The first things first is when I generate the scene, that I create a plane, and I don't want that plane to be there anymore. I want a completely blank scene except for the light in tutorial mode. So I'm going to go through scene, get entities, just to be safe. Lock. I'm going to lock around the scene lock that I have so that I don't fucking break the background thread, because you always have to be aware of that damn thing. Scene lock. Iterate the entities. Actually, this should be as simple as me just saying, because I don't have to discriminate here. The lights are in a separate array. So I do that. I need to set a flag that the scene can never be saved, because I don't... Hey man, I can't pronounce your name. I've been working on this for over a year. The HoloLens version was the first version, and I've been porting it to the Vive. I bought my Vive April 1st. So I've been coding this version of the app since April 1st, but it feels like a lot longer because I've been working on it every single day and night. I've taken like 1 day off, 2 days off in the last 30 days probably. And it's taking a toll, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not even earning any fucking money while I work on this thing. It's like, I pray when this is done that people actually buy it, or I might like never like want to do coding on my own time ever again. But yeah, since VR version since April, full-on version probably for over a year now. I like the way I have the chat set up. I can just look up at my TV and see it. That's smart. Okay, so clear the entities, and then set a flag that the scene cannot be saved. Now, there's multiple ways I save the scene. The first one is when I go back to the library. Archive to doc path, I think is what the function is. Toolbars, view controller, scene space. So I need to disable all three of those. And I'm probably just going to use the tutorial mode flag here. So this is the auto-saving timer, which I schedule out when it comes time to auto-save. I'm just going to add one more check to return here if tutorial mode. Then this one goes away. That doesn't happen then. The reason why I don't want you to be able to save is that if you're in tutorial mode and you do a bunch of shit and then you leave tutorial mode, I don't want that scene to be committed back. And more importantly, I'm going to load you into a really nice scene in the middle of the tutorial so you can actually see like what Verto's capable of. But that scene has some stuff that I bought from an asset store that's not legal for me to allow people to keep and kind of paste around, because then I'd be like basically giving away the asset creator's work for free. So I have to kind of make it so that that scene is kind of a playground only scene that content stays inside. So that's kind of my thought process. Covering your bases like with that kind of shit is always like annoying, but I have to do it. So that's one case where you can save. Here's the scene view controller. This is when you hit the quit prompt. Oh, this doesn't matter. This is the desktop mode 2D editing stuff. There's going to be no tutorial for that right now. Then library press. So this is one where if you hit the library, I save the scene. This is pretty simple. I can basically just say if scene sc get tutorial mode is false, which I throw a not in front of. Do all this jazz for background saving the scene, schedule a background task. But otherwise, I could just immediately kill the scene, not save it, and go back to the oops. I put this else in the wrong place. What the fuck? No, I didn't. Oh, just VC, SC, god damn it. SC stands for space controller, VC stands for view controller. The fuck is this thing? Oh, this is none of this none of that was necessary. Isn't that funny? I wasted my own time. Let's see. Okay. If this works, which it probably won't, I'll go into the tutorial mode. I should open a new scene. I should be able to do stuff in it. I should be able to back out to the library and nothing should save. That's what should happen. Oh great, I changed the damn header file that rebuilds like half the project again. That's fantastic. That's just swell. Having a great time. Having a great time. I should not edit this when I put this on YouTube, so you guys can see like the fucking clamor of working on like C++ code when you have like tens of thousands of lines of it and like you gotta wait. But I would sit through this every frickin' time versus using something like JavaScript or C# when you have like a 90th of a second to render both eyes in VR. Like, you need performance, and I've been saying this to like all you guys that have been watching all my videos. Like, C++ is the fastest language out there next to C and maybe like a few other ones out there that are like compiled. Okay, come on, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna go fucking day here. Alright, deploy started. I'm going to my room. So literally nothing I just did fucking worked. Like nothing I did worked. It fucking didn't erase the plane. It fucking saved the scene when I asked it not to. So that's kind of pisses me off. Well, let me just hit escape so at least saves my preferences change. You're welcome, Go Kunex. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Okay, fuck. So everything I just did didn't fucking work. That's swell. So the only thing I can assume is that tutorial mode was not set properly when I hit the tutorial button. So I need to verify that in the most basic level, like, that's what's happening. So set tutorial mode true. So like, no, like this should... Alright, so first things first, breakpoint here. Breakpoint here. Oh, that's fantastic. I put this in the wrong fucking place. That's really smart, Mike. That's swell. If I could think I'm like, how the hell did I ever figure out how to do any of this? Create scene. Like, what the hell did I fucking call this? I'm actually toning this down for you guys. Usually I get much more mad, like, when things don't work. Because, like, I don't have a lot of time to do this. Like, this is Sunday, for God's sakes. I'm already 40 minutes in. I don't even have the beginnings of this shit. And I am, like, gonna go to the gym in, like, an hour. Or else I'm gonna, like, be really stressed out. Okay, so... Scene space... Create new scene. Load scene is where I apply the pending thing, right? What the fuck am I doing here? Hold on. Load space, not load scene. No, this is right. Okay, so 2 breakpoints. One here and one there. Time to test them out. Alright. God damn it. You guys aren't going to be able to see my code window because it's covered up. I'm aware of this, but I can't kill the app because I need it open to do this verification of stepping through breakpoints and stuff. So I wish there was some way I could distinguish in OBS that the app is paused, but I can't. So pending tutorial mode does get set to true. And then I continue through. Yep, the second part never happens. It's loaded up the scene. It fucking shouldn't. It should have applied my changes, and it didn't. So, like, once again, this damn thing is not listening to me. Oh, look at this if statement. Like, that's not true. So, like, of course this fucking... God damn it. Sometimes I, like, if I just took an extra, like, second to read, I wouldn't, like, be fucking wasting my own time. Well, at least this is just... See, like, I didn't change the header file, so look at how fast this builds. Like, this is the way I usually like to go. Short of, like, walking a mile fucking between my room, like, in total. Every time I run this. Alright, let's see. Yes. It crashed. So, I fucking was not expecting it to crash. That kind of pisses me off. Oh, this is simple. This is something I would have uncovered during my testing anyway. Maybe. Oh, maybe not. God damn it. Null pointer, those are easy. If it's a wild pointer, I always get really fucking angry because that means I, like, absolutely... Again, I know you guys can't see my code screen, but I can't kill the app because I'll lose my crash. So it crashed when I was doing Sketch. I didn't even need to do Sketch to test my tutorial. I am happy the plane wasn't there, so that means my shit's working. Not thrilled about this. Hit, like, how, like, wait, what? Oh, shit! Draggable. I had this idea where my Sketch tool view controller, that 3D thing you're seeing mounted on my controller, that controller can be dragged on desktop mode, much like the iOS version of my app, and I have not tested this draggable shit on VR yet, and it's a good thing I just did. So I think the simplest solution is just not to fucking use the draggable view in VR. So let me just do this. So you notice I use auto in a lot of places. Auto is great when you're setting it equal to something where you know what it is, but now I have to declare this thing in advance. And I can't use auto because I don't know what I'm going to set it equal to, because I need to use an if statement based off of what it's going to be now. So can't use auto anymore. So basically if the device class, UGL system, get device. I'm using DC PC for device class PC, which is when this app, I haven't shown you guys this yet. It's actually really cool. This app's going to be able to be the same program. It's going to be able to go into VR or like desktop editor, much like a normal 3D modeling program on your computer. So I need to have if statements in the same program to let me know whether or not I'm running in one or the other. And that's kind of the idea. This is just going to be a standard view. This is better than fucking with it up there for how... And I need to change DC PC. I need to. I'm coding this exactly the same way every time I do this, so I can one day search and replace this with a macro to be like all 2D screens, whether it's an iPad or an Android or a PC, anything that's not VR or AR. In other words. Okay, so this needs to happen in two places because I also do this for the tech chord editor. So bear with me. TC editor, GL view, drag. What? I know I have another draggable view somewhere. Yeah, TC editor view controller. Okay. Same shit with this, except it's a different size. Or is it not? Width and height the same? Yes. Okay. So, let's fucking run that again. Motherfucker, come on. That's my favorite, or should I say, like, least favorite part of this, is, like, every time I test something completely unrelated crashes. My buddy's girlfriend was over here the other night because she had never tried VR before, and she fucking managed to get Verto to crash, like, twice. And I'm just like, what the hell did you do? And I was drunk, or drinking later that night, and I got home drunk, and I was just like, screw this, like, I want to find out why my program's crashing. So I ended up fixing and reproducing and fixing both crashes before I went to bed. Alright, I'm going to test this. So it's not saving the scene, but it's also keeping the broken scene document around, which is fucking wrong. So, that pisses me off. So I gotta, like, I'm not thrilled about this, but, oh, Alpar, thanks, man. No, I didn't win. The other guy just destroyed me. Whatever, you know, like, you work all your life on this thing and then you don't win. I don't think that would have made that much of a difference, and I can't talk about a lot of other things, but I feel like that work is definitely not wasted. I feel like, I mean, there's a reason why I'm, like, without a job right now working on Verto every single day. Like, I think this is valuable. I think this is going somewhere. I just have to not doubt myself, stay the course, whether I win awards or not. Just got to keep doing it. Okay, so this scene needs to be erased, which is scary when I leave the tutorial. So this is one part I do not want to fuck up. Because basically, if it's the tutorial mode, I'm going to tell the program to delete the scene on exit, which is really scary because if I get this wrong, I can end up deleting the fucking user's work, like when they don't want me to, when they're quitting the app. So this is one thing to not screw up. So I'm going to concentrate here. Because Verto Studio sandboxes scenes in the user's documents folder, much like this. There. So all the scenes you create go in here. But there's going to be like a temporary one that's going to have some things in there, but not going to be saved quite right. That I need to... It's just going to be an empty folder, essentially, but I need to kill it. So... Oh! Maybe. Maybe not. I think I know what I need to do, actually. This is another bug. When you go back to the main... Or maybe not. I think I can think of a safe way to do this. I have a function called prune, which will prune all broken Verto scenes, which that scene was. That's why I got the error box. That prune function, I could just run that when I come back from VR. Cleanup docs, there it is. So this function, basically, the whole point of this is that it destroys files that would not open right anyway. And it's really just documents that don't have proper scenes inside of them. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to run this sucker. And of course, the header include for this is fucking awful. I need to fix that. But that's because I'm sharing code between the HoloLens and Vive versions of this. So, son of a bitch. I can think of like 2 ways to handle this. Like, either one isn't that great. But the only way... If the user quits in the middle of the tutorial, then when they start the app back up, the prune will take care of that. So yeah, this is really just comes comes down to the one scenario where you exit back to the library. So let's take care of that. That goes to here. This goes through here. I always end up having a million tabs open by the end of like a development session. Yes. Okay. Scene. Get scene. Get scene. Scene. Can't think of any reason why this wouldn't be valid at this point, so then I could basically say scene. This is what would happen if I was saving. So let's see where this would go. This would end up saving to attempt directory document path project. So document path. Document path. Document path. God damn it, come the fuck on. Just making sure it's the same variable. So get. This is fine. This is only in the tutorial. I can tell with the if statement here that this will be I'll be aight. If okay, we already know that. So then we do file manager. Am I in that namespace? Do I even have it included? No. God, all these files are gigantic. I don't even like know how to organize this anymore. Like what order to put shit in. I just end up like including it wherever. Okay, let's see where I was. I'm pretty sure I'm already in the util namespace. No. I put all my stuff in namespaces so that I can keep my code at least somewhat reasonably organized. You know. So that's why I have vutil, vgl, vom, vui, all those. Remove item, path. What's your fucking problem, man? Oh. Even though I have a lot of statics, what I call singletons, which are classes that really are designed to only have one instance of them, I still always allow you to access like an existing one through like a static method to getter to obtain an instance of that object. I do that because I don't like forcing you to use the singleton. If you want to declare your own instance of file manager, you can for whatever reason. I kind of followed iOS's lead with that. So this should make the fucking document not be there when I go back to the main menu. All right. Okay, that worked. That worked. That worked. So, finally move on from the fucking bullshit. This is like building a house. You gotta lay the framework and make sure all the small stuff's working before you can move on to the big stuff. So this is where I get to have a tiny, tiny bit of fun. I gotta think about it architecturally how I'm gonna do this, because I don't want to corrupt the scene by adding things to it that I don't want it to be in there. That could be fun, though. So the way I want to do this is all the tutorial text I wanted to be 3D text. And I have code to do that. However, I could generate that 3D text in one of two ways. One would be I could add it as a text object in the scene and just put it out there and you could actually grab it, which is kind of silly, but it could be kind of fun. Or I could add to my holographic UI framework a 3D label type and then add it as a subspace of the scene, which means it'll be there and it'll kind of exist, but you won't really be able to interact with it. And I'm leaning towards that second part, but that's so much work. And I actually think once I get that text to appear on the screen, I'm just going to fucking stop and go to the gym, because believe it or not, that's probably going to take me like an hour to do, like worst case, or maybe even more. So it'd be easier, it'd be faster for me to just add the text to the scene and maybe like set some flag that you can't move it, but that kind of feels like a hack. So yeah, I think I am gonna do it as a subspace. I have this thing called common controls for VUI, which I have 2D ones, but then I have some 3D ones that I've started, and the only ones that that's weird. The only ones that I use currently for holographic common controls or spaces is the model space. And the only time you ever really see that in my app is when you're doing something that it takes a long time. You'll see like a spinning watch. And that's like a 3D model that I added. That's not part of the scene. So I'm thinking of doing the same thing with text. The shitty part about that is, oh god, the text is not designed to be generated on a background thread. Oh no, I know how to handle that. I'm going to generate it all before the scene starts. And then I'll just switch between them as I'm going. I already planned that ahead. I already thought about that. So here's VUI, here's Holo, here's Common. Where the fuck is my model? Literally, I was just looking there. Fine, whatever. So there's model. Okay. So now we need label, which is not the same. This is where namespaces really fucking come in handy, guys, because I already have a fucking file in a class called label. But now I need one in the Holo namespace and not the view namespace. I'm not thrilled about the way all my header includes are flat, which means this is going to conflict. But there are ways to distinguish with that, and that's not so bad. So let me use model as a guide, but let me create a completely blank file here. Label. I really don't want to call this label because it's going to conflict so bad with the other label. I got to think about what to do about this. It can't be called label, unfortunately. GUI Holo label. Just for now. I mean, this is not a great name, but this will get me started. Because right now I do have an issue with all my headers having flat namespaces. Oh, I shouldn't say names. The C++ namespaces are fine. The actual file structure is flat. You can see I always include all my files just by straight what they're named because I think it's easier. So let me throw this sucker into here. Label 3D. Drag once. So let me just kind of start with almost everything. Okay, I do actually need some of this stuff. Okay, so that was stupid to have this here. Model. Most of this is actually going to be pretty similar because the model type is the same thing as the text type, so I might be sharing quite a bit of this, or should I say forking quite a bit. That was stupid, that's the wrong file. Okay. I disagree with you, Mad Cobra. So, model space model. Okay, so the only thing I really need here is the string for the text. I don't think I need it in the index. So you're basically going to create this thing. It's going to be called a label 3D because, god damn it, really don't like that name, but I can't think of another name to give it right now. Well, you know what? You know what? I'm going to call it text. Fuck that. Because label is really like a 2D thing anyway. So this thing is frickin' called text. I just don't like the idea of that 3D being at the end of one of my like system controls. This is like where you do due diligence to yourself and not screw yourself over with bad hacky names in a framework that's going to be reused like by lots of applications. Text, good. Onload, that's for background loading, which I don't think I'm going to initially... What the fuck is this thing complaining about? Oh, we'll worry about that later. I don't think I'm initially going to do background generation of the text because that would be rough. Everything else is fine. Everything else in here looks good. There is no model dislocation. There is a text, so like so. Simple lighting is basically whether or not I want to use the existing scene lighting to shade this thing versus guaranteed lighting, so that if I'm loading into a scene where all the lights are turned off, you're not going to see anything. In this particular case, because it'll look more immersive and more cool, I'm probably going to allow scene-based lighting for... What the fuck did I do inside of this thing? That's what I want to know. Because this is all wrong. Okay. So let's see what model that CBP looked like. Namespace Vive Hollow. Scales and whatnot. Okay. Man, this is going to suck. Because my 3D text was not really designed to live inside of something like this. So this is going to take lots of iterations to get right. It's not going to be fun. I might get pretty mad or pretty frustrated in the middle of doing all this. Just saying. Does this at least compile? Fucking... Oh. Precompiled headers. Gotta include those. Okay. Cool. Alright. So now I'm just going to use my favorite feature ever of Visual C++, which is to automatically create all of these fucking methods for me. So I don't have to dick around, because I don't like dicking around with fucking wasting time on all this shit. If Xcode had this, it would be great, because Xcode doesn't, and it's like a big damn waste. Okay, first things first, I have to generate... What is this thing complaining about? Oh. I have to generate the text, like main thread for starters, and then I already have code to do this, so I'm not going to be like typing out freaking text extrusion right now. That'd be insane. But it's still going to be pretty involved, because I have a text at view controller that when I'm done runs some code to generate the text, and that, my friends, is going to be what I paste into this to follow the same lead on OK. These are the params, which I'm not too worried about, and then I add primitive, and that's the stuff that actually runs the text adder for me. Where are we at here? Where the fuck? Oh, here it is. There it is. There's the damn place. So, yes. Sometimes I like get myself lost like in this sea of shit. Text, there it is. This has no scene, doesn't matter. TextGen is a special subclass of my text generator algorithm class. The VUI one is the one that uses VUI fonts, which is important. I probably want to use the namespace that thing lives in, so I'm not typing vom : everywhere, and that goes double with fucking standard namespace. Same thing with VUI. And I need to include the font class, which is good. Okay. Default font, which is fine. So we're going to generate this with the default system UI font, which is good. I now need an entity, which I need to create, which is basically my special name for like any kind of 3D model. Not... I could talk about my architecture for hours. I'm not going to go into that, but I'll just say it's a 3D model within some kind of scene. It's lower level than other stuff. I believe I need to create one of those guys up here like this. So no scene lock not needed. Oh, come on with this shit. God damn it. Fucking wasting time here. Create editable model entity. That's what I want. Fucking asshole. Auto. Good. Of course, this fucking thing needs a scene, and I don't have one, so lower level. This stuff lives outside of a scene. Triangles. Yes. That's a good question. I don't know. Fuck it, I'll do it. I'll just pretend like it's threaded for now. Okay, finally, the text. Position. Resolution 1. Let me see what I had that set as the lowest possible one. These things, I'm going to need to generate every possible 3D label you're going to see before the tutorial even loads. So I needed to go really fucking fast because the user's probably going to feel like it's taking too long. So I need to jack that resolution as low as it possibly can go. The slider that I have for that dialogue is 4. Curve resolution of 4, limited to 32. So this is probably 4. I got the font. Radius. The fuck? Oh, I just reused something. That's the scale. So I think that I'm just going to play with this scale until I know what I want. And then I got extrude, which is always true. And then I got extrusion length, which again I'm going to play around with until I know what I want. It's going to try out 1. And then the text gen object. So this function right here is what actually generates 3D text for me and has me let it live inside a model, which is really what I want. Rotation quaternion. I'm gonna keep this inside, and then I'm gonna update the VR transforms when I'm completely done because it needs those to live. And then let me see what else we got here. So what else do I do when I generate this in the scene? When you're writing something this big, you forget your own, like, what you did. So, like, referring back to your previously written code, which you might have had to hammer on to get working, it's a good idea. Like, you shouldn't always assume you're going to have all this stuff in your head. This is what I want to do. All these. Okay. There's no fucking scene. The scene can kiss my ass, motherfucker. But I do need to set model to E at the end of this, so we don't just create this local variable and destroy everything. You guys will probably notice I'm using smart pointers everywhere. If you don't know what those are, I have a C++ video that talks about them. It's very nice. You can think of it like an automatic memory management system where when you create a smart pointer to something, the very last reference to it, or at least as long as there's at least one reference to it, it'll be kept allocated. When at the very synchronous moment the last reference is dropped or set away or to null, the object is freed. It's very different from languages like Java that use a garbage collector, which free the memory whenever it's convenient, and they have to crawl an object graph of every possible object that can reference every other possible object inside of it to determine which objects are freeable. And when they do that, they pause every single damn thread of the running program and lock it up while it does that expensive operation to see what can be garbage collected, and then it frees them. So for something like VR, where performance is very critical, and if you drop a frame because it took you longer than, say, 11 milliseconds to run your garbage collection, really a bad idea. That's why I don't like things like Unity, which use C#, which is a garbage collected language. There's a reason why I went all mad scientist and decided to do all this shit myself from scratch in C++, because I don't like high-level languages. I think I've probably said that a lot over the years I've had this channel. Somebody texted me. Well, fuck them. Could be a friend. Well, I'm going to stop soon as I get this text to appear anyway, which is probably still like a ways out. This doesn't matter. This is loaded. I can just set this to true because I'm doing this again for now on a main thread. Render. This should be very, very similar. Also, there should be something in here about lighting. Simple lighting. Oh, that's in the render function, so that's covered. Okay. This is almost going to be completely identical, but I still want to keep this fork because there might be some specific optimizations I do for one versus the other. Or maybe at some point in the future, I'll make text be a model subclass so that I can end up really sharing all this crap. Like if this function ends up becoming exactly the same, then that's different. VGL. SC. What the fuck is SC? And why don't I have it here? Who the fuck is texting me? Okay. Light. See? If you text me, I lose my train of thought and I get pissed off. SC. It's constant. It's 1. It's fucking kind of silly, but I guess I did that so I can quickly change the scale without diving into this code. I do that sometimes. Just throw like a constant factor. This is fine. Sometimes I like to declare those static so they don't have a chance to conflict with other files. Yeah, this should be static. What the hell am I doing? Text. If you guys want to know like about static, I think I cover it in one of my earlier videos. So I saw red. I saw an error. Or maybe I didn't. Yeah, this function is really similar, so I might go back later today and make text be a subclass of model, because I don't like the idea of having an exact duplicated method anywhere in my code base. Okay. Man, my eyes are getting blurry. Shit. It's probably because I'm sitting on this fucking couch, which I told myself I would never let myself do. This is way too similar. This is definitely like a to-do. Housekeeping. Housekeeping. I hope I don't go crazy. Okay. I think if you do this too long, you go crazy. There's a guy in my building who's a programmer, and I feel bad because I think he's kind of going a little crazy. But, you know, maybe he'll pull out. Vom, entity model, pointer, text. What the fuck is this shit? Oh, this is simple. This is just... Okay. It's built. Get ready to watch it fuck up and crash. I need a dry run for this motherfucker, and I'm going to follow the lead for the other model that I have in my scene, which is the busy wait indicator light icon. That's weird. I don't know what that's for. I'll worry about that later. VUI, hollow. We need to include text. This is a big motherfucking header file, so this is going to require everything to rebuild, which is great. Just want to make sure this is the right text.h and I don't have another one hiding, trying to fuck me over. VUI, hollow, text, pointer. This, by the way, I like to use double colon pointer because I hate underscores. Like, I fucking hate them. Like, there's one here, but I'll, you know, I had to do that because it's forward class. I type def strong or shared and weak pointers as pointers that live inside the class, so that I can just do double colon pointer. I just think that's nicer and prettier and whatever. So this is going to be all the fucking tutorial. The entire tutorial is going to live inside these labels. So basically this is going to be called tutorial labels. There's going to be some amount of them. Right now I'm just going to assume there's at least 4 of them. And then I'm going to have an integer here, which is basically going to be the index for the tutorial position. And the idea is every single time the user does the next step of the tutorial, I'm going to increment the integer, and then I'm going to draw or fade out or crossfade. How the fuck am I going to do that? Well, my label pose. I need another one for that. But yeah, I'll crossfade, and then you'll see the next text appear, or maybe I'll animate it down, or I'll do something cool. Tutorial label posts. But for now, I'm only going to load the first one. So, load space, scene space, load scene. God damn it, create scene. There it is. Create new scene. I can never remember the fucking name of that method. So if we are in the case where we're creating a new scene, which I've done, which I don't know it's the tutorial yet in this case, which is swell. So when I clear the entities out and basically when I know that I'm in the tutorial mode, that's going to be the time when I generate all these labels. And I'm going to create them on the main thread, heaven fucking forbid, but I'm tired of... like when I did the HoloLens version and you did main thread pauses, it would really break the app. On Steam VR, because it's amazing, it typically will... what's the word? Fade you out to a nice loading grid when you pause the main threads. It's not as devastating as I originally thought it was. But you just don't want to do it in the middle of rendering or anything really important. Okay. Tutorial labels 0. Let's try this out. Let's test drive this motherfucker. Text. So of course Visual Studio doesn't understand how to go into the template argument lists, which it's only this. So basically this is just going to be a test. It's going to say welcome to... Really hope I handle new lines with my text. If I don't, this is going to become a lot trickier really fast. Studio VR. So I add this guy, right? Stopwatch, much like I create the stopwatch. Busy wait indicator. I don't need simple lighting for this. I don't need to worry about is loaded just yet. That's an interesting thought. Show busy wait indicators. So this is very similar to me showing the stopwatch. What I do in this particular case is... Oh, I set these guys as tag-alongs, don't I? That's interesting. This should be good. This should be enough to do it. Okay. Welcome. So I'll generate all these in advance, right? Like this will probably be done in a for loop. And then at some point I will add them all, but I'm going to add the first one here. And that should really be a function just like can I ever remember the fucking names of things I just looked at? What was it called? Show busy wait indicator. I want it to be like where that is. So void show tutorial label int index. This will basically take you to the next tutorial position. Motherfucker. Not in the mood for your shit right now. Show tutorial. Okay. Fuck Chuck. Enterprise. Let's just all be enterprising enterprisers. Enterprise. This should add tutorial labels of index. Should actually be tutorial label posts. Motherfucker, listen to me. Put a K where I didn't type a K. Post equals index. I had something called incoming or something like that. Next. So this is when I start fading. So the idea here is if tutorial label post, because I don't like to suddenly pop between two labels. That'll look ugly and look rushed, which I'm starting to feel like I want to do, but I just won't let myself. Next tutorial label post equals index. I'll worry about that later. Show tutorial label index index add subspace check and check. I gotta decide where to put this thing because I don't want it to just follow where your eyes are looking. That'll be really annoying. At least for this particular case, I want this to always be kind of forward from you. So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe having this be like, I don't know what unit system this is in. I think this is happens to be like meters. So maybe like 2 meters in front of you, off the grid, but very obvious that when you look around in VR, you're going to see this giant ass text telling you what to do. So set origin. What the fuck is? Oh, this is not busy queue. This is text queue. This might be wrong. This orientation might be wrong. I think it will be actually, but we'll check it. That's not busy wait indicator either. This should be auto current text equals. This thing, and then current text, set scale, set orientation, set origin, potential. Like so. I have no fucking idea if this is gonna work, guys. Sometimes you do all this work and then it's an hour of like, why don't I see anything on the screen at all? And then you just want to kind of put your fists through it. But I'm optimistic. Like that's not going to happen to us today. Set tutorial mode. See, I know like sometimes I make the mistake of not even calling the function I just made, and then of course it wouldn't appear. Let's see what fucking happens. I feel like going back into my room. So we're gonna wait for this to compile. Might get some compiler errors. You never know. And then we're gonna hope to see the words "Welcome to Verto Studio VR." I gotta put some color on those. That would be a nice second argument to text. I'll worry about that later. I just want to see it. Once I see it, I'm gonna be like, we're good. Because then I gotta eat and go to the gym and like pretend that I don't work every single day. Miles, I started at age 15, 16-ish, but I didn't really get good at C++ until maybe like my senior year of high school. Yes, Fresh Lambda Kebab, I am. This is my own engine. I've been working on it for... The engine's older than anything. It's a couple years old. I think I probably started doing this in like 2014 maybe, this particular engine. And even then it was a port of like something I wrote for iOS. So it's been thrown around for a long time. But yeah, I learned at age 18-ish. But I really only took me like 1 or 2 years. It was a lot easier in high school because I didn't have a job and stuff. So it's kind of like right now, actually. But yeah, you just drill at it every single day and make sure you're always trying to do something that you think is too hard, that you don't think you'd be able to do. Like, I couldn't think I could do this. And then you'll get there somehow if you're determined enough. I'll be right back. I have to test this. That's really fucking funny. It's way, way, way too small. I thought it wasn't even fucking working, and it's like on the ground, like extremely tiny, like probably the size of like my pinky finger. So the scale's wrong, the orientation's wrong, but it appears, which is amazing. I'm not stoked about how long it took to generate that text, because I've got to generate like 10 fucking labels. But at the same time, I could optimize that code, and this is a debug build. Debug builds on Visual Studio are insanely slow compared to release builds for the optimizers, so not too worried about that yet. I say the longest I would allow, like a pause to load into the tutorial, would be like 5 seconds at this point. Because this is going to go on Steam Early Access, so the very first version of this, which I'm hoping people will buy, will be an Early Access title. It'll be like $20, and then when I release for reals after the release week, or like the promotional, you know, initial sale or whatever, launch sale, it'll be $30, and I'm hoping that'll be a good price point. I think for all this, like, who the fuck would not, you know, like, there's 3D programs that modelers that cost hundreds of dollars a month for like, and they can't do this. So anyway, let me fix this shit. Tutorial label. First things first, that quaternion's wrong, so I'm not even going to bother with that. Just leave that rotation to be the same as the origin, or the identity. Identity is a fancy word for nothing, like no rotation, just like default. Origin is, interestingly, not... 2 is like right there at the center, so I'm going to try to do this in Verto scales, Verto coordinates, which would be about 200. We'll push it off the edge, and the scale is insanely tiny, so I'm going to have to play around with these numbers as I decide to use the 3D text like in other parts of the framework. Allegro was my first language. Nobody really uses it anymore. I don't think it would be a good service to the viewers if I did something on a technology that's kind of like not as popular. Don't get me wrong, I owe everything to Allegro. Like, Allegro's my damn roots. Like, it taught me C and, like, how to do graphics. But I'm just really on the fence about doing a tutorial for it now when SDL is so much bigger. That was my original reason why I did SDL and not Allegro in my tutorials. But I'll think about it, but I'm not sure if that's a good thing. Set origin, potential origin. Okay, so this is now further off. So I'm trying to find out whether or not I should adjust the scale here, or if I should adjust the scale in the text class itself, because I think it might be too tiny here. So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe making this a factor of 100 larger and then just running it and just seeing. Come on. I need to eat soon. I really, yeah, once I get this looking right, I'm probably going to stop, guys, because I never stop, and this is how I end up being like 5 p.m. and all I've had is a bowl of cereal, and I didn't work out, and I feel like a piece of shit, so I don't want to do that right now. Okay. Getting there. It's on the wrong side, so I got to put it on the other side, and I think it'll, unless my mind isn't working the way I think it should, I think it will fix that flipping issue if I just move it over. So in VR, the way it works, or at least in OpenGL coordinate systems, which is what I'm using, forward ahead of you when you put the headset on, and that's like the forward of your room, is... I just got a weird feeling that maybe like what I think is forward isn't. But people could just turn themselves to look. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, forward is the negative z-axis, not the positive z-axis. So let's try that. I wonder what that 0 at 200 means in the chat. That's strange. Hopfen James, I don't have an actual job right now. Verto Studio is my job. Everything that I earn either comes from clients that contract me to make apps for them, or directly from people supporting me from buying my apps. So if I have an app on the store like Espresso C or Verto Studio, or this upcoming version of Verto Studio for Windows and VR combined, if somebody buys one of those, it's like they're directly supporting me. So that's the answer to that. I'll be right back. I have to test this. So I'm thinking that text is actually too big to read. If the text is too big to read, then it's kind of annoying. So I might make it a little smaller, a little higher off the ground. And also, I was kind of noticing the frame rate wasn't good. I'm almost sure that's because, like, I got an Elgato fucking hooked into my VR computer at the same time as OBS running, and like this microphone, and like I'm streaming to fucking YouTube gaming, and like it's a debug build. So I think all those things combined are like definitely harming the frame rate. I'm not too worried about that. Just want to make sure there's not too many polygons in that text. I don't want to hurt the I don't want to be GPU bound. That's for damn sure. So that'll be the last thing I do. I will add two things: colors. I think I just made the text smaller. So I'll add a color. So there's color. Default argument for it, so if somebody doesn't want to specify one, they don't have to fuck with it. Default arguments are a C++ feature, so in C you can't do them. So there's color. In the particular instance where I set the material for this newly generated text, I can apply that color. It's kind of weird, but the basic idea is I can go through every single submesh. There's only one of the meshes, and then I could do auto m equals get. God, it's been a while. Make shared material. This material class is kind of crazy, but the idea is I got texture, diffuse, ambient, spec, emit. So there is no texture. Diffuse is the color. Specular is whether or not I want it to be shiny. For now, I don't. Specular, diffuse, ambient, emit. Ambient is always something like 2, 2, 2, 1. And then emit, again, nothing. And then I do S, set material, M. It's not very efficient to have a bunch of forked materials everywhere, but again, this is high-level UI stuff. I'm not too worried about this right now. So that will allow me to set a color for the mesh. Let me let this thing get a head start in compiling because I touched a big header again. Then I'm with you, Miles. I like Allegro better. It's just I have to watch out for again, like the same way I don't think it'd be a very smart move to learn OpenGL 1.1 right now, or at least not to ship anything with it. You want to learn like current stuff that's going to be valuable and people get jobs doing game development with that. Which even SDL is like a little bit not great, but it's easy and it's portable. So, man, I'm fucking I'm running out of steam here. I gotta get this thing working before I stop. Okay, so scene space, tutorial, text. Where's the part where I create the fucking text? God, why did I not put, like, this needs to be next to the other method. Like, that is really annoying. Okay. Tutorial. So tutorial mode followed by applying tutorial. There you go. Color. Verto uses blue everywhere, but I think I might still use more blue. Maybe. Fuck it. Yeah, more blue. Red. Green. One. Okay. Tinted blue. Too big and needs to be higher off the ground. That's too big part is solved by me going higher off the ground like this. The too big part times 100 was a little bit overkill. I'm gonna drag it by, reduce it by half, and then that's just gonna be like the constant for this. Maybe let's think, hold on, 50, 10 times 5 over here now. Good enough. I don't like typing the same number 3 times. It pisses me off. Well, I didn't fuck any of that up. I should be able to see some nice looking text. I think they're both good, man. I think SDL and Allegro are both good. I think Allegro is slightly easier because it has old school, more like built-in functionality for old school style gaming. But I think SDL is more robust. Be right back. it works. So that's a good stopping point for me to eat food and go to the gym. The damn fucking thing works. Even though it seems like it was a lot of work, I can now build on that really quickly. So I can get like label after label popping up, tell you what to do to learn how to use Verto. No, I stopped using Allegro at 4. I don't use Allegro 5. I don't know anything about it. When they changed the APIs from 4 to 5, I was like, fuck this. I'm not learning a new API to do the same kind of stuff. That's when I switched to SDL. There's a hummingbird outside. That's cool. But yeah, everything I just did is totally reusable. So now I'm going to be able to be like, welcome to Verto Studio. This is how you create an object. This is how you do this. This is how you pick things up. This is how you move things. This is how you teleport. And I'm just going to be able to quickly walk them through how the whole app works. And I got to think more about that. Right now I'm fried because this took way longer than I freaking thought it would to do this. Damn. But that's the name of the game with this. Time to commit all of this damn code. I'll worry about that later. But yeah. So this is kind of like a small snippet of like what I do every damn day until this is done. It's been like this for months, just like this kind of programming. But I'm getting there. And I really think when this thing's done, guys, like if you have a Vive or even if you don't and you just run, yeah, I'll show you the local, run the desktop mode, which will have support for VR. I think everyone's going to have like some kind of VR within the next like 5-10 years. This is the same app running. It's just now running in a desktop environment. Same UI, same everything, same features. It's all there. So, but yeah, I think when people try this, they're going to be pretty freaking impressed or stoked with it because it's the way I feel like a 3D modeling program in VR should work. There's other people trying to do it, but this is my take on it, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'll answer one more question, and I'm going to sign off. I think C is much easier to learn. I tell people you can learn C in a week and master it in a few years. You'll learn C++ in a few years, and you'll never master it. C++ is, in my opinion, the single most complicated programming language ever made because they keep adding to it, not taking anything away. The template stuff alone is insane. But I still think it's extremely relevant. I would never be able to write a program like this in another language, like a higher level language, without it collapsing under its own weight. It would just die. There's just too much going on with this. C is just as powerful as C++. It just doesn't have as many bells and whistles. So in order to do stuff like smart pointers, inheritance, lambda functions, all that stuff is possible in C, but it wouldn't look like that, and it'd be much harder and lower level, and there'd be a lot more friction. If I had to guess, like if I decided to make this whole fucking thing in C instead of C++, it probably would have taken me like another couple months or years to do. Yeah, Miles, I understand, man. I mean, maybe someday when I'm not so busy with this stupid thing. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I just wanted to do this stream because I haven't been very active because I've been so busy with this on my channel. But I do have quite a few of you guys now, and I don't want to neglect the channel. So that's kind of why I did this. And so you guys can get a taste of what like VR development is like when you're not using Unity or Unreal or any of those like higher level toolkits. So, all right, I'm gonna sign off. This has been fun. Expect a release of this app within a month because it's getting real close. So talk to you all.